this morning's ceremony and will be supported by my sister Mindy Kasiga from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the United Republic of Tanzania. Allow me just to say a little bit about the summit, whose event we are witnessing here for the sake of the delegates who are here for the first time. The Sadc Summit is one of the institutions of Sadc. The Sadc Summit consists of heads of state and government of all member states, and the summit is a supreme policy-making body of Sadc, and among others, the summit is responsible for policy direction and control of the functions of Sadc. The summit is managed on a troika system that comprises the summit chairperson, the incoming chairperson who serves as deputy, and the immediate previous chairperson. So during this ceremony, we will also witness the exchange of leadership with the Republic of Namibia, handing over the chairpersonships to the United Republic of Tanzania. Having said that, allow me at this point to introduce the heads of state and government represented here at the high table. Let me start by introducing the chairperson of Sadc, who is the president of the Republic of Namibia, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob. From the United Republic of Tanzania, allow me to introduce our host, His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, who is the incoming chairperson of Sadc. By the end of this ceremony, he will be the chairperson of Sadc. Karibuni. From the Republic of South Africa, allow me to introduce His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is the past chairperson of Sadc. From the Republic of Zambia, we have His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, who is the current chairperson of the Sadc organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation. From the Republic of Zimbabwe, we have His Excellency Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, who is the incoming chairperson of the Sadc organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation. From the Republic of Angola, we have His Excellency President João Lourenço, I hope I pronounced the name correctly, the outgoing chairperson of the Sadc organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation. From the Republic of Mozambique, we have His Excellency President Jacinto Nyusi. From the Republic of Seychelles, we have His Excellency President Dan Faure. From the Union of Comoros, His Excellency President Azali Assoumani. The Republic of Madagascar, we have His Excellency Andrinira Rajoelina. From the Democratic Republic of Congo, we have His Excellency President Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo. From the Republic of Malawi, we have the Vice President Everton Chimuri Lenji. The Kingdom of Lesotho, we have the Right Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Moshwai Thomas Tabane. From the Kingdom of Eswatini, we have the Prime Minister Honorable Amlos Dlamini. Up front here, we have the Minister of Foreign Affairs. From the Minister of International Affairs and Cooperation from the Republic of Botswana, Honorable Dr. Unit Doe. From the Republic of Mauritius, we have the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Vinshu Luchema Rido. From the United Republic of Tanzania, we also have the Foreign Minister, who is also the chairperson of the Sadc Council of Ministers, Professor Palamagamba John Kabudi. Up front also, we have Executive Secretary of Sadc, Excellency Dr. Stegomena Lawrence Tax. She is a daughter of the United Republic of Tanzania. That is the high table. In our midst, we also have a lot of dignitaries. I will not mention all of them, otherwise we'll take the whole day. But allow me to recognize the former heads of states from the United Republic of Tanzania who are in our midst. Former President Ali Hassan Mwinyi, His Excellency former President Benjamin William Mkapa, His Excellency former President Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete. We also have the President of Zanzibar, His Excellency Ali Mohammed Sheikh. And we have the Vice President, the Prime Minister, and our guests from the Development Bank. We have the President of Africa Development Bank. I will announce him as he will be making a speech later on. We also have the representative from the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. Thank you. At this point, allow me to now introduce the Executive Secretary of Sadc, Her Excellency Dr. Stegomena Lawrence Tax, to come and deliver her remarks.
Your Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia and the Chairperson of Sadc, Your Excellency Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, incoming Chairperson and our gracious host of the 39th Ordinary Summit, Your Excellencies, Head of State and the representatives, Your Excellencies, First Your Excellency, the President of Zanzibar, the Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellencies, former Presidents of the United Republic of Tanzania, former Vice Presidents, former Prime Ministers, Honorable Professor Paramagamba Kabudi, Minister of Foreign Affairs and of East African Cooperation of the United Republic of Tanzania, and the Chairperson of Council of Ministers, Honorable Ministers from Sadc member states, Your Excellency Dr. Adesina, President of the African Development Bank, Your Excellency Dr. Vera Songwe, my sister, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations of Economic Commission for Africa, Your Excellencies, Head of Region and International Organizations, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of Parliament, officials from SADC member states and SADC Secretariat, invited guests, partners from the media, habarini za asubuhi na karibuni sana. It is with deep sense of honor and gratitude that I stand before you to deliver some introductory remarks during this official opening of the 39th SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government. I thank you most sincerely for honoring our invitation. Allow me to thank the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania for the warm welcome and for accepting to host the 39th SADC Summit. We are humbled by the hospitality extended to all of us and the excellent facilities put at our disposal, a true demonstration of Tanzania's commitment to SADC cooperation and integration. On a sad note, allow me to express our deepest condolences to the government of the United Republic of Tanzania and people and the families affected by the fuel tanker accident in Morogoro, which occurred on the 10th of August 2019. We stand in solidarity with you in this difficult moment. May the souls of the departed rest in eternal peace. We wish the injured a speedy recovery. Your Excellencies, the macroeconomic position of our region remains critical for the realization of the goals that we have set for our region. The general economic environment has been relatively stable during the year. Economic growth averaged at 3.1% in 2018 compared to a growth of 3% in 2017. Botswana, the Democratic Madagascar economic recorded positive growth in per capita GDP in 2018. There was an improvement from only the 5 member states, namely Botswana, DRC, Mauritius, Seychelles, and Tanzania, that recorded positive growth from 2017. The annual inflation rate decreased to an average of 8% in 2018 from 10.1% in 2017. This slowdown in inflation is associated with, among others, favorable weather conditions in some member states, low demand pressure, and stability in exchange rates. Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Madagascar, Mauritius, Mozambique, Namibia, Seychelles, and South Africa, and Tanzania met the inflation target rate of 3 to 7%. A downward trajectory in investments and savings registered since 2014 continued in 2018. The region recorded investments of 22.8% of GDP in 2018 compared to 24.4% in 2017. Botswana, Lesotho, Seychelles, Tanzania, and Zambia performed above the regional target of 30% of GDP for investment. On the savings side, the region remained subdued at 19.9% of GDP in 2018, lower than 20.6% realized in 2017. Only Botswana, Mozambique, and Zambia attained the regional saving target of 30% in 2018. The fiscal deficit averaged at 3.1% in 2018 compared to 4.3% of GDP in 2017. Angola, DRC, Mauritius, Seychelles, and Tanzania made the fiscal deficit target of 3% of GDP in 2018. Public debt maintained an upward trend across all member states in 2018, where the region's public debt increased to 48.8% of GDP, slightly above the 47% recorded in 2017. The number of member states that met the regional target of public debt of 20% of GDP remained constant at 11 in both 2017 and 2018. Najua Kiswahili hakijawa lugha rasmi ya Sadc, lakini kwa vile niko Tanzania, naomba niseme kwa kifupi nimesema nini, ili wananchi walio wengi waweze kunielewa. Nilichosema, nimesema kwamba uhimilivu wa uchumi ni nyenzo muhimu sana katika maendeleo. Nimetoa takwimu ya jinsi nchi wanachama zilivyokidhi vigezo vya uchumi mpana wa Sadc. Tuna vigezo, na takwimu hizi zimeonyesha kwamba nchi wanachama zinafanya vizuri, na Tanzania ni miongoni mwa nchi wanachama ambazo zinafanya vizuri. Na kwa kipekee kabisa, Tanzania ni nchi peke yake ambayo imeweza kufikia kigezo cha kufikia 7% ya ukuaji wa uchumi. Kwa hiyo naomba mjipongeze, lakini pia naomba tuzipongeze nchi za Sadc kwa ujumla wake kwa kujitahidi katika kukidhi vigezo hivi vya uchumi. In spite of the progress made as demonstrated by the macroeconomic indicators, tropical cyclones Idai and Kenneth had devastating effects on some of our countries, but in particular unions of Comoros, Madagascar, Malawi, Mozambique, South Africa, and Zimbabwe, resulting in unprecedented loss of lives and livelihoods and the destruction of our property. I would like to express our deepest sympathy to the countries and people affected by Cyclone Idai and Kenneth. Sadc responded swiftly by releasing $500,000 to the 3 countries that were mostly affected. And they also launched a regional humanitarian appeal. Now I extend our gratitude to His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, the chairperson of Sadc, for his timely response, and the member state, united agencies, and other partner institutions, civil society organizations, the private sector, and individuals that supported the affected member states during these challenging times. As a result of the national and the regional humanitarian appeals, a total of $203 million translating to 41% of the required $491 million has been mobilized. As a long-term strategy, Sadc is in the process of operationalizing the Disaster Preparedness and Response Strategy and Disaster Response Fund. As climate change intensifies, climate-related disasters are predicted to increase in frequency but also in severity, further compounding the increased threat to the health and the well-being of human and non-human species worldwide. As such, there is a need for the region to undertake interventions to lessen the impact of these disasters. The region also needs to undertake interventions to reduce its footprint on climate change through, among others, adoption of clean technologies to reduce carbon dioxide emissions, combating deforestation, and increasing reforestation to enhance carbon reduction measures. Your Excellencies, implementation of the 38th Sadc Summit theme of promoting infrastructure and youth empowerment for sustainable development that you adopted in 2018 August in Windhoek, Namibia, progressed very well. Attention was on the amplification of youth voices through the Sadc Youth Forum. In this regard, numerous activities were implemented that resulted in the development of a framework on promoting youth innovation entrepreneurship, and leadership. This was in a recognition of the importance of youth and the need to mainstream youth empowerment in SADC programs. To this effect, youth empowerment will remain a continuous SADC agenda. May I thank His Excellency Dr. Hag Gengo, the chairperson of SADC, for his vision and for overseeing and guiding the implementation of the 38th Summit theme and for pushing it forward as part of the regional integration and development agenda. It was a theme and is going to remain a SADC agenda as we move forward. We thank you very much, Your Excellency. Excellencies, peace and security and stability are essential in creating a conducive political and a social environment for livelihood and to thrive the business to operate and flourish. During the year, the region maintained its enviable record of peace, security, and stability. Furthermore, consolidation of democracy had remained on a right trajectory. Since your last meeting in August 2018, 6 member states, namely the DRC, Eswatini, Madagascar, Malawi, South Africa, and Zimbabwe, conducted elections which were credible and peaceful. Where there were electoral disputes, legal processes were followed in handling such complaints. Electoral disputes are a healthy part of democratic process, and when subjected to due process of the law, they reinforce legitimacy and credibility of the democratic system, as we evidenced during the year in our region. Your Excellencies, while SADC region enjoys peace and tranquility, terrorism and other transnational crimes continue to be matters of great concern. Organized crime also poses a significant threat to peace and security and also undermines regional economic integration. It is therefore imperative that SADC member states continue to cooperate and undertake joint initiatives to address this menace of great concern to all of us. Gender-based violence also continues to adversely impact on the socio-economic development of our region. A study undertaken by the SADC Secretariat on gender-based violence in the region, among others, shows that gender-based violence is a common phenomenon in SADC. Prevalence rates vary across member states, with physical violence ranging from 6 to 34%, it is very high. Sexual violence from 4 to 26% is equally high, and emotional violence from 15% to 37%. With everyone's commitment, we can eradicate this unacceptable practice of gender-based violence. Your Excellencies, during the year, SADC remains seized with the implementation of SADC industrialization agenda that is anchored on technological and socio-economic transformation as a means of addressing poverty, inequality, and the underdevelopment that bedevil our region and the continent at large. Industrialization remains the topmost priority of our region. Effective industrialization requires partnership between public sector and private sector and the other regional and international partners. The private sector is the engine of development as it creates jobs, undertakes economic production, contributes to government revenue, and helps to lift the living standard of our people. The 39th Summit theme, a conducive environment for inclusive and sustainable industrial development, for increased intra-regional trade and the job creation, is very timely. For the private sector to drive our industrialization agenda, it needs to be competitive, adaptive, and plugged into regional and global value chains. This requires knowledge-based capabilities, appropriate skills and technologies, infrastructure to leverage industrialization, as well as regional and national policies to support private sector development and its effective functioning. Both the COMESA EAC SADC Tripartite Free Trade Area that was launched in 2015 and the African Continental Free Trade Area, whose agreement entered into force on the 30th May of 2019, will require that the private sector in the Sadc region is positioned to compete and utilize the opportunities from these expanded free trade zones of over 1.2 billion people. In order to enhance public-private partnership and anchor the industrialization process, we have introduced Sadc annual business industrialization weeks. The industrialization weeks bring together different stakeholders to showcase innovative entrepreneurial ventures in the region, promote experience sharing, and encourage the brokerage of investment partnership. This year's Industrialization Week was held very successfully on the 5th to the 9th of August in Dar es Salaam, during which the Sadc Business Council was launched. The private sector is therefore encouraged to use this platform and contribute to the Sadc development agenda. Tunaishukuru sana serikali ya Jamhuri ya Muungano ya Tanzania na wadau wote walioshiriki katika kongamano hili, lakini hasa kwa maandalizi mazuri yaliyofanywa na serikali ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Ilikuwa ni kongamano ambalo lilileta watu wengi sana, haijawahi kutokea tangu tumeanza makongamano haya. Your Excellencies, as part of the implementation of Sadc Industrialization Strategy and Roadmap 2015-2063, a protocol on industrial and the mining vision and action plan were developed during the year. The regional mining vision aims at optimizing sustainable extraction and development of mineral resources that are abundant in our region. On the other hand, the protocol on industrial seeks to promote diversified, innovative, and globally competitive regional and national industrial bases. Recognizing the contribution of small and medium enterprises, the Secretariat, in collaboration with the UN Economic Commission, UNECA, conducted a study on a small and medium-scale enterprises. The study will be used to develop a framework to enable SMEs to be among the key drivers of industrialization. While we celebrate the progress made, it is important to critically analyze the pace at which we are moving and acknowledge that growth of the manufacturing sector remains slow. The sector grew by 4.3% in 2018 as compared to 4.6% in 2017. And the share of the manufacturing sector value added to overall GDP for Sadc region was 19.9% in 2018, slightly up from 11.5% and 11.2% in 2016 and 2017 respectively. This is a matter of concern, considering that we are far from attaining the targets that we set for ourselves. As one of the targets outlined in the industrialization strategy, we committed to increase the share of manufacturing value added in GDP to 20% by 2020 and 40% by 2050. And we are still at 11%. We are only left with a few months before 2020. We therefore need to intensify our efforts if we are to reach the targets that we have committed to ourselves, and indeed if we are to industrialize. Given the slow growth of manufacturing sector, intra-Sadc trade remains low. Intra-Sadc imports declined from 21% in 2016-2017 to 20.6% in 2017-2018, while intra-Sadc export declined from 24% to 22.4% over the same period. These data, what the data says is that indeed we are making progress, but we need also to intensify our efforts. Your Excellencies, in spite of the recorded progress, the road ahead of us is still long, and attention needs to be paid to a number of issues, among others, continued and concerted efforts in promoting macroeconomic stability and the consolidation in our, macroeconomic stability consolidation in our region, This is essential to win business confidence and ensure predictability of in our economies. Addressing the energy deficit that the region continues to face, with many countries producing below installed capacities, it is important to diversify our energy sources, as energy is fundamental in powering industrialization. During the Industrialization Week, a number of us noted the efforts in developing Nyerere hydroelectric power project, and indeed we still commend this, and we believe this is the way to go. Addressing infrastructure gap, in doing so enhance productivity and the ease cost of doing business. Concerted effort to enhance knowledge-based capacities and innovation to increase productivity as well. Giving more space and the policy priority to private sector, in particular the micro, small and medium scale enterprises. And lastly, giving special attention to gender equality and youth empowerment as means of leveraging the demographic dividend. May I also mention that Sadc is undertaking the mid-term review of the revised regional indicative strategic development plan and the strategic indicative plan for the organ. We have also begun the process of developing a new regional strategic development plan 2020-2030, a new Sadc vision 2050. These processes should provide us an excellent opportunity in articulating the Sadc we want in the 21st century. Our overall aspiration should be to engineer a region that is strong, competitive, prosperous, resilient, economically transformed and developed, democratic and peaceful. These aspirations are consistent with the goals of the African Union Agenda 2063 and the United Agenda 2030 for sustainable development, of leaving no one behind. And they are also in tune with the founders of our organization aspirations, where all the citizens enjoy high living standard and peace. Let us participate in shaping the Sadc we want. As I conclude, allow me to extend our gratitude to the chairperson of Sadc, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia, for his exemplary leadership and the guidance during the year. Indeed, his leadership has been instrumental in attaining the success recorded by Sadc during his tenure, some of which I have presented, but there are many I cannot present all of them as the Sadc chairperson. We thank you very much, Your Excellency. May I also thank the chairperson of the organ on politics, defense and security cooperation, His Excellency Edgar Chawalungu, President of the Republic of Zambia, for the outstanding guidance provided in the implementation of the work of the organ during the year. Let me also recognize and thank my Deputy Executive Secretaries and the Secretariat staff for their support and hard work that enabled the discharge of my duties and the delivery of the Secretariat mandate during the year. I thank you very much. Without you, I'm nothing. Allow me to express gratitude to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation under the leadership of Honorable Professor Parapagamba Kabudi, the Chairperson of Council, for the dedication that enabled the successful preparations of the summit and all preceding events. I think everybody can testimony to that. You can verify that indeed the preparations were very good, and the summit and all meetings were held very, very successfully. We thank you very much for that. At this juncture, allow me to congratulate and welcome the incoming chairperson, His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania. I wish to assure you, Your Excellency, that the Secretariats and my personal commitment and the professional services during the your tenure as the chairperson of Sadc. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza.
Na basi mtazamaji na msikilizaji wa TVC, ni Katibu Mkuu wa Sadc Dr. Sadc akieleza mengi kuhusiana na yale ambayo yanatakiwa kufanyiwa kazi, lakini kikubwa akipongeza nchi ya Tanzania kwa kuboresha uwekezaji, lakini pia kwa ukuaji wake wa uchumi ambapo imefikia 7% ya ukuaji wa uchumi na kuwa miongoni mwa mataifa ambayo yanakuwa kwa haraka. Kingine kikubwa amegusia kuhusiana na hatua za kupunguza madhara mabadiliko ya tabia nchi, ujuzi kwa vijana na swala la amani na uthabiti.
Few confessions through the chair, I'm sure I'll be forgiven. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Mozambique is Felipe Jacinto News. I think I slipped off the Felipe. If you just say Jacinto News, it will be the president's son. So my apologies for that. It's the president who is here, not the son. Also, I did mention that we have former presidents in our midst. I would like to recognize that we...
Naam, nilikuwa nikiendelea kujuza mtazamaji na msikilizaji wa TBC kile ambacho nikisema katibu mtendaji wa Sadc Dr. Sadc. Kingine ameongelea kuhusiana na kuwezesha sekta binafsi ili ziweze kuchagiza uchumi wa viwanda, lakini pia ameongelea masuala kadha ikiwemo mauzo ya bidhaa inatakiwa nguvu zaidi ziongezwe, lakini pia ametoa wito kwa nchi wanachama kuongeza uzalishaji katika nishati, lakini pia kuboresha miundombinu iwe wezeshi katika ufanyaji biashara baina ya mataifa haya wanachama wa Sadc. Mtazamaji na msikilizaji wa TBC, tunaendelea kujuza kile ambacho kinaendelea kujiri hapa katika mkutano huu wa wakuu wa nchi na serikali wa Jumuiya ya Maendeleo Kusini mwa Afrika Sadc.
Invite our host, His Excellency President Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, to come and welcome us officially to the United Republic of Tanzania. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, President of Republic of Namibia and the Chairperson of Sadc. Your Excellencies Head of States and the Government of Sadc. Your Excellency First Ladies, Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, Vice President of United Republic of Tanzania. Your Excellency Dr. Ali Mohamed Shein, President of Zanzibar and the Chairman of the Revolution Council. Your Excellency Kassim Majaliwa, Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania. Your Excellency Ambassador Seif Ali Idi, Vice President of Zanzibar. Excellencies, former Presidents Mzee Mwinyi, Mzee Mkapa, Mzee Kikwete, and Mzee Karume. Excellencies, former Vice President and former Prime Minister, and the other leaders here present. Your Lordship Professor Ibrahim Hamisi Juma, Chief Justice of Tanzania. Your Lordship Othman Makungu, Chief Justice of Zanzibar. Your Excellency Chairman of the Sadc Council of Ministers, Honorable Ministers here present, Your Excellency Dr. Stegomena, Tax Executive Secretary of the Sadc, Your Excellency Head of other regional and international organizations, Excellencies, Higher Commissioners and Ambassadors here present, distinguished delegates and other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the 17th August 2019, mark 17 years since the Southern Africa Development Coordination Committee was transformed into the current Southern Africa Development Community, SADC, in 1992. I therefore, on behalf of the government and the people of the United Republic of Tanzania, and indeed on my own behalf, wish a happy SADC Day to all the citizens of SADC. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in establishing these organizations in 1980, our founding fathers had one major objective, that is to fight and eradicate all forms of colonialism and racial segregations in this sub-region. Indeed, by the year 1994, the entire Southern Africa region was free from the yoke of colonialism and apartheid regimes. Allow me, therefore, to seize this opportunity to commend and pay tribute to those who contributed to this greatest achievement, especially all our founding fathers of this organization. While commending them, it also needs to say that one of the instruments that facilitated our struggle was the Swahili language. This noble language has since then continued to expand all over the world. Indeed, it is now the 10th most spoken language in the world, whereby in Africa it is widely spoken in 13 countries, including 6 in the SADC regions. The African Union, the East African Community, and recently the African Development Bank, and I'm happy to see the President of African Development Bank here, have already adopted it as either their working or official language. It is against this background that I would like to appeal to Your Excellencies to allow me to deliver my welcome remark in Swahili. It's my sincere hope that by doing so, Your Excellencies will be convinced to consider and fast track the adoption of Swahili as the fourth official language of the SADC. Since I see no objection to my request, I now switch into Swahili. For those who are unable to follow the language, don't worry, interpretations facilities are available. Waheshimiwa wakuu wa nchi wenzangu, mabibi na mabwana, ni heshima kubwa kwangu kupata fursa hii ya kusimama mahali hapa kwa niaba ya serikali pamoja na Watanzania wote kwa kuwakaribisha wageni wetu, viongozi wenzangu, wakuu wa nchi na serikali pamoja na ujumbe wenu kwenye mkutano huu wa 39 wa wakuu wa nchi na serikali za jumuiya yetu ya maendeleo kusini mwa Afrika. Kama mjuavyo, mkutano huu unafanyika ikiwa imepita miaka 20 tangu baba wa taifa letu Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, ambaye alikuwa miongoni mwa waanzilishi wa SADC, afariki dunia. Hivyo basi, tunaahidi kushirikiana na nchi zote wanachama wa SADC kuhakikisha kupitia mkutano huu ndoto na mawazo ya baba yetu wa taifa pamoja na viongozi wengine waanzilishi wa jumuiya hii yanaendelea kutekelezwa kwa vitendo. Baada ya kusema hayo, narudia tena kuwakaribisha waheshimiwa wakuu wa nchi kwenye mkutano huu wa 39 wa SADC hapa Dar es Salaam, mahali penye amani na ambapo ni kitovu cha harakati za ukombozi barani Afrika. Mungu ibariki SADC, Mungu ibariki Afrika. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza.
Thank you. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais Dr. John Pombe Magufuli.
Kuwakaribisha rais wenzake, wakuu wa nchi na serikali wa Jumuiya ya Maendeleo Kusini mwa Afrika SADC katika mkutano huu rasmi kabisa Agosti 17 na Agosti 18. Ameshawakamilisha hotuba yake. Sasa tunachosubiri hapa ni utaratibu uweze kutolewa nani anafuata, na baada ya hotuba hiyo kukaribishwa tumsikilize.
Celebration of where Sadc and the ideals of Africanness and humanity were found. In doing so, the people of Tanzania are rallying behind the message that was delivered by His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Magufuli in celebrating Sadc and in celebrating Africanness. Providing that they could not all be here with you, esteemed delegates, we have provision for their recording, a recording that was done by young people of Tanzania, young artists, young musicians, and they're singing in Swahili. But all that is celebration of you delegates, what you have found, what you have built upon, and what you're going to lead for the future. Sadc is in our hands, esteemed delegates. Your Excellencies, I also, as a son and daughter of Tanzania, on their behalf, I celebrate the idea of embracing Swahili or Kiswahili within the region. So I welcome you to follow the instructions, subtitles which are going to be given in English, but also to visit the Swahili booth, which will give you more about Swahili. And by the end of this meeting, I'm sure we'll all be fluent speakers of Swahili. I now welcome all Tanzania staff.
Ninawashukuru sana pia kwa kuichagua Tanzania kuwa mwenyeji wa maadhimisho haya ya Sadc. Kwa kweli hii ni heshima kubwa kwa Tanzania. Asanteni sana.
Karibisha sasa ni Tanzania All Stars, wimbo maalum kabisa wa Sadc. Mtazamaji na msikilizaji, hivi sasa tuwasikilize.
Mkutano huu, juhudi zako katika
Maalum kabisa wa Sadc kutoka Tanzania All Stars, wimbo ambao umeimbwa na mjumuiko wa wanamuziki na wasanii mbalimbali, na tumsikilize sasa mshereheshaji kwa kinachofuata.
Miss Barbara to continue with the official program. Excellencies, Miss Barbara.
Thank you, my sister Mindy. The next presentation from Dr. Vera Songwe, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. A round of applause. So, yes. Yes, I will be, don't worry.
Your Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, President of Namibia and Chairperson of SADC, Your Excellency Dr. John Joseph Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, incoming Chairperson of SADC, and our gracious host. Your Excellency, other members of government and head of state, honorable ministers, members of parliament, and members of the justice system. Your Excellency, the SADC Executive Secretary, my sister, Dr. Stragomena Lawrence Tax, heads of other institutions, in particular my brother, the President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Adesina, members of the UN family, private sector, the civil society, the youth, members of the media, first ladies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Habari za asubuhi. Good morning, bonjour, buen dia. I am pleased and feel highly honored to have been invited to address this august gathering on the opening of the 39th Ordinary Summit of Heads of States of the SADC region. To begin with, allow me to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency President John Joseph Magufuli and the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania for the warm hospitality extended to me and our delegation and the hills of the Kilimanjaro. I would also like to acknowledge the significant contributions made by the outgoing SADC chairperson, and I think my sister Dr. Tax has already re-emphasized that, so I wouldn't go through that in the interest of time. But thank you, President Hage Geingob, for everything you've done during your chairmanship. I must say the theme of this summit, a conducive business environment for inclusive and sustainable industrial development, is well-timed and resonates very well with the current economic developments across the continent. And therefore, I would like to congratulate the heads of states and government for adopting this. would like to couch my speech on the 4 headings: the global context, the trade issues and industrialization, the state of the people of the SADC region, and the question of competitiveness. And the global context, I think we have all seen the trade wars that are happening across the world and are particularly impacting on our continent, not directly, but through monetary policy, because our competitiveness is weakening. We must ensure, therefore, that as the rest of the world slows, and as growth generally slows because of the trade wars and because of diminishing productivity in the developed world, which has been a source of growth for the continent, and as well in China. As we know, China used to grow much faster, at double-digit growth. Today, China is growing at 6 and 7%. It is not enough to power our continent. We therefore must look inside. We must ensure that as we move forward together on the continent. And I think it is for this reason that we celebrate the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, because it allows us as Africans to come back within, to look inside of us, to be able to find the sources of growth we need to ensure that our continent continues to be prosperous. We are 10 years away from the SDGs, and many of our countries will not meet the SDGs. The SDGs have one line: we must leave no one behind. And we are not there yet. I think, as my sister said, growth on the continent is slow. The SADC region promised 7% growth by 2020. It is less than 4%. I think only a few countries are making the 7% growth, including Tanzania, and we congratulate Tanzania for that. We need to do more, we need to do better, we need to do faster to ensure that our people stay out of poverty. The speedy ratification of the CFTA is a clear sign that our leadership and the leadership of SADC recognizes and realizes that industrialization, but more importantly, integration, is what is going to create jobs and generate prosperity for our people, in particular for our youth and for the women. Therefore, it is for this reason that we continue to emphasize and urge the rest of the countries that have not yet ratified the CFTA to join the community of the willing and ensure that we all get and move forward with this 1.2 billion market, which can create more jobs, create more prosperity for our people. The main purpose of the CFTA is really about that. It is about creating jobs. It is about ensuring that every young woman, young man, every child who grows up in the SADC region will realize their dreams of getting a job in the near future. Prosperity is within our reach. We know we can do it as an integrated community, and therefore this is the reason why we work harder and stronger every day to ensure that this integration, which has begun with the CFTA, continues. We cannot do integration, we cannot benefit from the CFTA if we do not have the conditions that ensure that our economies are competitive. In that spirit, and again, my sister has spoken about the issue of climate change, and I'd like to stop here and take a few moments to recognize and sympathize with those who suffered from Cyclone Indai. As you know, the Secretary General of the United Nations did visit the region to pay his respects, but also to emphasize the importance of climate change. Indeed, Africa is only 2% of the contribution of carbon dioxide into the environment, but we do know, and I think we are living it, we do experience the fact that we are suffering the most. An important part of climate change is energy. An important part of industrialization is energy. Today in the SADC region, only 5% of the rural areas in the Southern Africa region have access to electricity. There is quite a dichotomy in the region. 71% access in the urban areas of Tanzania, 7% in the rural areas. 80% access in the urban areas of Zimbabwe, 14% in the rural areas, and the numbers go on. We need to ensure, in particularly as we know that our women are in the rural areas, that there is more energy. But it's not just any kind of energy. We need renewable energy, because even if we don't contribute to the climate change problem, by continuing to use fossil fuels, we will in the long run contribute. And the small amount that we pollute into the environment actually translates into huge amounts for our healthcare systems, as it is our women who continue to burn fossil fuels and suffer from poor cooking services. So in the Sadc region, you have made a lot of progress improving energy with the South African power pool. But there are still some challenges, and we hope that as we move forward to ensure that industrialization takes root, not only will we increase access, but we will improve the institutional capacity to move and to transition from fossil fuels and coal to more clean energy. We at the ECA have launched a program called Build Back Better, which is essentially to help countries understand how their infrastructure can be less vulnerable to climate change. We are working with many countries today that suffered from Cyclone Indai to ensure that as we build back better, we build back more resilient, and we build back stronger. The second area that I wanted to talk about in the region is the condition of our people, poverty. Poverty is an important part of the SDGs, as an important part of the aspirations of Agenda 2063. We know that we stand in a region which is still suffering from the scourge of poverty. We have not collectively gone below the 50% line for all our countries. We still have, in many of our countries, people living below the poverty line. In some places, 78% of the population is still below the poverty line. But more importantly, even as we celebrate some of the increases in GDP per capita in some of our countries, 10 of the most unequal countries in the world are in Africa. Of those 10, 7 are in the Sadc region. This means that even where we are growing, we are not delivering equality. We are creating a more unequal society, and we must stop and re-question the way in which we are creating and generating growth to ensure that it's not just growth that leaves some people behind. The SDGs do say we will leave no one behind. This inequality is in particular, and it is being contained and maintained because we have poor competition policies and because of our education policies. On the competition policy side, and this is going to be the next phase of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, it is crucial that we look at the linkages between trade, intellectual property, and investments. Why intellectual property? Because as our youth create new ideas and as our youth come up with new ways of delivering services, of trading, and the whole point of the CFTA is not just about production, but it's also about how we move goods from one place to the other. A lot of that will be happening in the digital age, and we have to then ensure that we level the playing field, that we ensure that the private sector, that is the one that creates jobs, is able to compete fairly, predictably, and consistently in the sub-region. The Economic Commission for Africa has launched a Digital Center for Excellence, working with the rest of the UN family to ensure that this digital age leaves no one behind. We are also working with many members of the Sadc community, Seychelles, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and others to ensure that this happens. Education is the fastest way to lift a girl out of poverty. We know that if we can lift many girls out of poverty, we will lift our continent out of poverty. As I stand in the country of the President, Julius Nyerere, he once said, education must provide for 3 things: an inquiring mind, an ability to learn from what others do, and a basic confidence in our own position as a free and equal member of society who values others and is valued by them for what they do and what they obtain. I think as we stand here today in the country of His Excellency former President Julius Nyerere, who is a champion for Africa, these words on education must resonate to all of us, that our girls must go to school, our girls must ensure that they don't get left behind in the digital age. In conclusion, Your Excellencies, allow me to take from a quote of Nelson Mandela, and I promise President Hage Geingob I'm not going to repeat yours. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. I dream of the realization of the unity of Africa, whereby its leaders combine in their efforts to solve the problems of this continent. I dream of an Africa. I think as we signed and ratified the CFTA, we began to make that dream of an Africa reality. And I hope that the next time we meet, all of the Sadc leaders would have ratified the CFTA, and we will be one more step closer to that dream of a united Africa where its people live in peace with themselves. Thank you very much for your attention.
mtazamaji na msikilizaji wa TBC, ni Dr. Vera Songwe, katibu mtendaji Kamisheni ya Uchumi Afrika kutoka Umoja wa Mataifa, akimaliza hotuba yake iliyojikita zaidi kuelezea masuala yanayohusu uchumi wenye ushindani, lakini pia akigusia swala la elimu, akiyataka wanachama wa jumuiya hii kuweka mkazo sana katika kuwawezesha watoto wa kike kwenda shule ili waweze kujikwamua, lakini pia kuepuka madhara ya mabadiliko ya teknolojia. Na sasa tusikie hotuba nyingine na kisha nitakujuza kile ambacho kinaendelea.
Your Excellency, President John Magufuli, our great host, Your Excellency, Dr. Hage Geingob, the chairperson of Sadc, Your Excellencies, heads of state and governments, Excellencies, former heads of state, Excellencies, first ladies, Excellencies, prime ministers, honorable ministers, Excellencies, ambassadors, heads of international agencies, and my very dear sister, Dr. Vera Songwe, the Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Africa, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I commend you, President Hage Geingob of Namibia, on your remarkable work as chairperson of the Sadc, and I thank you for your outstanding work. I also like to thank my dear sister, Dr. Task. She's doing an incredible job for you at Sadc, and I think you should give her a big round of applause. Thank you for inviting me to this summit. I wish to congratulate you, incoming Chairman, Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, President John Magufuli. My dear brother and friend, as you will be assuming leadership as chairperson of Sadc, and Mr. President, I just wanted you to know that we speak Swahili at the bank. That's why I said that. You are well known for your dynamism and action, and so I know that you will bring to this work an agenda and mission, a lot of your passion to advance the work of Sadc. But please accept, Mr. President, our deepest condolences on the loss of lives of those who died in the tragic incident here. May God comfort you and the whole country, and may their souls rest in peace. Your Excellencies, the Sadc region is known for its progressiveness and strong bond of unity, fraternity, cooperation, and regional integration. The bond that binds this region, tightened decades ago during the struggle for independence and the fight against apartheid, inspires a deep desire for growth and prosperity of its people. You all are great leaders. You are working hard for your people. You are delivering development, but you want to do more, and your determination is palpable. I am here, Your Excellencies, to let you know that the African Development Bank, your bank, is there to strongly support your drive for more rapid economic development of the Sadc region. We've deepened the decentralization of the bank. Since 2015, we have opened regional offices in 5 regions: the West, the East, Central, North, and Southern Africa. We are getting much closer to the countries. Since you elected me as president in 2015, we now have a total of 41 country offices, including the one right here in Tanzania. My personal commitment to the region is very strong. I have appointed 2 vice presidents of the bank from the Southern Africa region, including the first Lusophone vice president in the entire history of the bank. The bank has continued to deliver great value for the Sadc region. For Southern Africa region alone, the bank's current investment totals $13 billion. Your investment in the bank pays off very well. For every dollar of paid-in capital by the region, it received about $19 in investments, an impressive 19-to-1 leverage ratio. Take the case of energy. The bank has invested $5 billion in Eskom in South Africa that is critical for the power supply for South Africa and the entire Sadc region. The bank has also supported Mauritius with $114 million for its St. Louis power plant that now provides 36% of the population with electricity. Unlocking the potential of Inga hydropower project in the Democratic Republic of Congo must be, and I emphasize must be, a top priority. With a potential of over 44,000 megawatts, this can power the entire region and beyond. That's why the African Development Bank is strongly supporting the realization of Inga 3. The bank provided $75 million to finance the feasibility studies, and my sister, Dr. Tax, was talking about the crucial importance of energy. We financed the feasibility studies for this 4,800 megawatt space that will provide electricity to the DRC, South Africa, and all of the SADC countries. We stand ready to help drive investments to make this a reality. Investments by the bank are also helping to turn the dream of the road linking Cape Town to Cairo a reality. I was delighted to be here last year to join President Magufuli here in Tanzania as he inaugurated the bank-financed 251-kilometer road, and we did this with JICA, the Japanese, linking Dodoma to Babati. Congratulations, Mr. President. We close a critical link, missing link, in the Trans-Africa Highway connecting Cape Town to Cairo through Lusaka, Dodoma, Arusha, and Nairobi. Small island states have been a priority of ours as well, and our support for Seychelles and Comoros has helped them to build critical infrastructure, including water and road networks. The bank financed with $300 million the expansion of the Walvis Bay port in Namibia to provide better port access for Namibia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. I heartily congratulate you, President Hage Geingob, and your Minister of Finance, the Governor of the bank, for commissioning the expanded port just a few weeks ago. Thanks to this support from the bank, the port's capacity has now more than doubled from 300,000 to 750,000 20-foot equivalent unit. Congratulations, Mr. President. The bank is financing the construction of the Kazungula Bridge that will link Zambia and Botswana, as well as improve access to Malawi and the DRC. The bank's $500 million financing for the Nakala Corridor holds the key for much of regional integration in the SADC region. It will expand regional trade by 25%. It will reduce transport costs by 15 to 25%. To facilitate intra-regional trade, which Dr. Vera Songwe talked about, the bank has provided $300 million in trade finance and trade risk insurance to the Absa Bank and a force-run bank in South Africa. These will facilitate a total of $2 billion worth of trade for 20 countries. The African Development Bank provided $25 million to support Eswatini Development Finance Corporation and $80 million for the Botswana Development Corporation, both to provide access to finance for small and medium-sized enterprises. And in Lesotho, our support is helping the country to modernize its tax revenue collection and administration to raise more resources for its development. Your Excellencies, agriculture offers huge opportunities for the SADC region, but it faces significant challenges from ravaging climatic risks, droughts, and devastating floods, as Dr. Tax mentioned. Recent cyclones massively affected the economies of Mozambique, Malawi, and Zimbabwe, while droughts have affected Namibia, Madagascar, Lesotho, South Africa, Malawi, and Botswana. The bank provided over $104 million in support to Mozambique, Malawi, and Zimbabwe to address the immediate humanitarian and reconstruction needs from the devastating floods. The bank financed the rapid deployment of water-efficient and drought-tolerant maize varieties for over 2.5 million farmers planted on a whopping 1.1 million hectares last year alone, mainly in the SADC countries. The bank also financed the payment of premiums for disaster risk insurance for Mozambique and for Madagascar. And last year, Your Excellencies, another menace is called the fall armyworm, threatening food security all across the SADC region. The African Development Bank immediately swung into action, and we financed the rapid dissemination of technologies to immediately tackle the fall armyworm, reaching 1.5 million farmers last year alone. To deepen private sector investments in Lusophone countries, including Mozambique and Angola, the bank launched the Lusophone Development Finance Compact to help leverage $5 billion in private investments in Lusophone countries, the first ever such in the history of the bank and also the first ever such in the history of the continent. To accelerate investments on the continent, the African Development Bank launched Africa Investment Forum last year, Africa's marketplace for investments. Under the chairmanship of our incredible and generous host, President Cyril Ramaphosa, the maiden event was a huge success. We mobilized collectively investment commitments worth $38.7 billion for infrastructure projects in Africa, all in less than 72 hours. And close to $9 billion of those were for projects in the Southern Africa region. Your Excellencies, the continued success of the SADC agenda depends on a strengthened SADC Secretariat. The African Development Bank is supporting the establishment of a $1.2 billion SADC Regional Development Fund to help mobilize domestic resources for regional infrastructure and industrialization. Just in May this year, the bank approved $2 million for the operationalization of this fund, including for project preparation, for agriculture, pharmaceuticals, and mining. I would like to urge member states of SADC to accelerate their ratification of the Regional Development Fund Agreement so this fund can start its incredibly important work. Your Excellencies, your support to the African Development Bank has been crucial in driving impressive development results for the continent. Since 2015, when the bank launched its Hi-Fi strategy, 16 million people have been connected to electricity. 70 million people were provided with access to improved agricultural technologies. 9 million people access finance from private companies. 55 million people were provided with access to improved transport. And 31 million people gain access to improved water and sanitation. The African Development Bank is your trusted partner. We share your vision. We believe in your drive. We are here to help you succeed and realize your ambitions. I wish to thank your Excellencies for your strong support for the general capital increase for the African Development Bank, your bank. Your unanimous and strong support for the general capital increase will help fast-track Africa's development. I see a brighter future for the SADC region. Regional railways that link the whole region. Regional value chains that will drive competitiveness. Special agro-industrial zones that will transform agriculture into a major business all across the region, creating millions of jobs. And regional power poles that will finally solve the energy challenge in the region. Cynics may say, this is ambitious. Of course, it is. Africa must not be under-ambitious. With your support, the African Development Bank and myself as its president stand fully committed to support SADC to achieve even greater development results in the coming years. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. Merci beaucoup. Mucho obrigado. Asante sana.
Basi ni Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, Rais wa Benki ya Maendeleo ya Afrika, akielezea mchango wa benki hiyo katika miradi mbalimbali ya maendeleo katika ukanda wa maendeleo kusini mwa Afrika, akizungumzia wawekezaji ambao wamefanya katika miradi mbalimbali ya umeme katika mataifa ya Afrika Kusini, taifa la Mauritius, lakini pia akielezea jinsi benki hiyo imesaidia wawekezaji katika nishati na kusaidia miundombinu akitolea mfano pia mradi wa ujenzi wa barabara ya kilomita 251 kutoka Dodoma kwenda Babati ambao ulifadhiliwa na benki hiyo. Pia ameelezea uwekezaji katika maeneo ya bandari na kufadhili miradi mbalimbali ya madaraja, lakini pia benki hiyo imekuwa ikisaidia katika ujenzi wa miundombinu iliyoharibiwa na majanga mbalimbali. Na kurejesha ukumbini, tuendelee kujua kile kinachoendelea.
Monsieur le Président Gembo, Président de la République de Namibie et Président en exercice de la Sadc. D'accord, d'accord, d'accord. Monsieur le Président Magufuli, Président de la République de Tanzanie, Excellences, Monsieur le chef d'État et de gouvernement, Monsieur le Président Adesina de la Banque de développement, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs de délégation, Excellences, Monsieur le Président du Conseil des ministres de la Sadc, Excellences, Madame la Secrétaire exécutive de la Sadc, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les membres du corps diplomatique et des institutions internationales ici représentées, honorable assistance, Mesdames et Messieurs, permettez-moi, avant d'entamer mon discours, dire à mon frère Adesina que la Banque africaine de développement, ce n'est pas notre frère, c'est notre sœur. Parce qu'une sœur a beaucoup de sentiments aux gens que le frère. Et je voudrais, à l'entame de mon propos, saisir cette bonne opportunité pour exprimer à mon cher frère, le président Magufuli, aux autorités, au peuple frère de la République unie de Tanzanie, au nom de ma délégation et à mon nom personnel, nos sincères reconnaissances pour l'accueil chaleureux et fraternel qui nous a été réservé depuis que nous avons foulé la terre tanzanienne et de cette belle capitale de Salaam, ville de retrouvailles, d'accueil et d'hospitalité. Je suis confiant que sous la clairvoyance et l'incontestable leadership de son Excellence M. Magufuli, digne successeur du feu le président Malimou Julius Nyerere, qui va être investi comme nouveau président de la Sadc, notre organisation bénéficiera de son expérience d'homme d'État, visionnaire, et franchira un nouveau palier dans son épanouissement et son évolution. Je voudrais également exprimer la sympathie et les condoléances du peuple comorien au gouvernement, au peuple frère de la République unie de Tanzanie suite à l'accident survenu le 12 août dernier à Maguru et qui a occasionné de lourdes pertes humaines. Nos prières vont à l'endroit de regretter et tout en partageant la douleur indicible des familles endeuillées par cette tragédie, nous formulons nos vœux et prompt rétablissement aux blessés. Par ailleurs, je voudrais également saisir cette opportunité pour saluer le leadership de son Excellence Gembo, président de la République de Namibie, et le féliciter pour avoir assuré avec beaucoup de sagesse la présidence de notre organisation durant les 12 derniers mois. Je voudrais ensuite exprimer tous nos remerciements à Madame la secrétaire exécutive de la Sadc, à son staff, pour toutes les dispositions techniques qui ont été prises en vue d'assurer le bon déroulement de nos travaux. Mesdames et Messieurs, honorable assistance, mon pays, l'Union des Comores, est heureux de se joindre à cette grande famille de la Sadc et d'apporter sa modeste contribution aux efforts communs de notre organisation en vue de la réalisation de son objectif principal, la solidarité et le soutien mutuel pour un développement harmonieux de nos pays à travers les principes fondamentaux de souveraineté et de respect de l'intégrité de nos frontières au regard du droit international. En ce moment historique pour mon pays, où nous prenons part au sommet, au premier sommet, depuis notre adhésion plénière et effective en août 2018, je voudrais vous dire toute la fierté de l'Union des Comores d'appartenir à une organisation régionale qui reste un modèle d'intégration et de développement économique solidaire. Au moment où l'on parle d'intégration continentale au sein de l'Union africaine, le raffermissement et le renforcement de la coopération au sein de la Sadc constitue non seulement un levier important pour y parvenir, mais aussi un bel exemple de la coopération sud-sud. C'est par l'action commune et la mutualisation de nos efforts que les pays de la Sadc pourront tirer le meilleur profit de ce grand chantier à l'échelle continentale. Mesdames et messieurs, honorables assistants, l'adhésion des Comores, pays insulaires, à la Sadc vient enrichir le cercle des États insulaires en développement dans cette organisation. C'est un atout majeur qui doit être pris en compte dans les nouvelles orientations stratégiques et de développement de la SADC. Toutefois, notre statut particulier d'État vulnérable et fragile, plus confronté aux aléas climatiques et doté de ressources économiques limitées, mérite toute notre attention afin que nous puissions occuper pleinement notre place dans ce dynamisme ambitieux. Comme vous le savez, il a été dit ici, le Mozambique et les Comores ont été durement frappés par le cyclone Kenneth du 23 avril dernier, qui a dévasté ce pays et causé d'énormes dégâts matériels et des pertes humaines. Ils en subissent encore les conséquences. Pour le cas de mon pays, tous les secteurs ont été touchés, notamment l'énergie, l'agriculture, les infrastructures de base, le bâtiment et j'en passe. Mon gouvernement, avec ses moyens modestes, a alors décidé de consacrer la moitié du budget national de l'année 2019 à la reconstruction du pays et s'est beaucoup investi pour mobiliser la solidarité nationale et internationale. Honorable assistance, l'Union des Comores vient d'ouvrir une nouvelle page de son histoire. 44 ans après l'indépendance du pays, le peuple comorien aspire à de nouveaux changements, à une nouvelle dynamique de gouvernance politique capable d'inscrire les Comores parmi les pays émergents d'ici 2030. Cette ambition, nous l'inscrivons dans l'agenda 2063 de l'Union africaine et des objectifs de développement durable de l'Organisation des Nations Unies. Cette aspiration est le fruit d'assises nationales qui ont rassemblé sans exclusif les populations des 4 îles. En ma qualité de premier garant du droit du peuple comorien, j'ai entendu cette volonté unanime et fait mienne les recommandations qui en ont issu. J'ai ainsi lancé de grands chantiers d'évolution institutionnelle et de développement économique suite à un référendum constitutionnel qui a conduit vers des élections anticipées, à l'issue desquelles j'ai eu le grand honneur d'être réélu au mois de mars dernier. La confiance qui m'a été renouvelée par le peuple comorien constitue pour moi un encouragement à continuer sur la lancée pragmatique de l'émergence du pays. Et je voudrais ici renouveler mes remerciements les plus sincères aux pays de la Sadc qui nous ont accompagnés et soutenus durant ce processus, en particulier au secrétaire exécutif pour avoir bien voulu prendre part à la cérémonie de mon investiture à la magistrature suprême de mon pays au mois de mai dernier. Cette présence réconfortante prouve si bien été l'engagement et la constance de notre organisation et de ses organes dans la promotion de la démocratie, de la paix et de la sécurité dans notre région. Qu'il me soit permis ici de féliciter mes frères chefs d'État et de gouvernement de la République de Madagascar, de la République d'Afrique du Sud, de la République démocratique du Congo et de la République d'Afrique du Sud pour la confiance que leurs peuples respectifs viennent de placer en eux suite à des processus démocratiques pour conduire aux destinées de leur pays. Mesdames et messieurs, la SADC constitue pour l'Union des Comores un espace stratégique de développement économique et pragmatique. C'est aussi un parfait modèle de défense de la sécurité, de la paix, de la démocratie en Afrique. Au nom du peuple comorien, je salue les différents programmes et stratégies sectorielles développées par la SADC, notamment ceux liés à l'économie bleue, à la santé, aux infrastructures, au développement économique, social et humain, à l'éradication de la pauvreté et au dialogue politique, mais aussi à la libre circulation des personnes et des biens dans notre espace. Mesdames et messieurs, permettez-moi de porter à la connaissance de cette auguste assemblée que je viens d'effectuer une visite officielle en République française à l'invitation du président Macron, qui a permis de relancer la coopération bilatérale entre nos deux pays. Lors de cette visite, le président français a également bien voulu accepter de parrainer et d'abriter à Paris une conférence de bailleurs de fonds au profit du développement des Comores d'ici la fin de cette année 2019. Les modalités pratiques de cette importante rencontre sont en cours de finalisation et dans la fin de ce mois, la SADC, ses États membres et les différents partenaires seront invités à y prendre part. Sans oublier mon frère, le président Adesina de la Banque de développement. Mon pays compte sur votre présence, votre investissement et votre solidarité. La présence de l'Union des Comores au sein de la SADC est un atout considérable. Sa possibilité d'appartenir à d'autres organisations internationales, notamment l'OIF, la Ligue des États arabes, l'Organisation de la coopération islamique, pourrait faire de lui le porte-parole de la SADC au sein de ses forces internationaux. Et à mon nom, mon pays reste disponible à jouer ce rôle avec engagement et investissement. Je ne saurais finir mon discours sans réitérer mes vifs remerciements aux pays hôtes, à la présidence en exercice, au secrétaire exécutif pour leur engagement et leur développement pour la bonne réussite de ce sommet. Je souhaite plein succès à nos travaux et à nos délibérations. Je vous remercie pour votre aimable attention. Vive la SADC, vive la coopération régionale. Je vous remercie. Asante sana waheshimiwa.
Thank you. The Union of Comoros is the newest member of SADC. Shall we just give them another round of applause as a welcome to the SADC family? Thank you. The next maiden speech will be from His Excellency Andre Nira Rajolina from the Republic of Madagascar.
Na msikilizaji na mtazamaji, sasa ni zamu ya Rais wa Madagascar Andre Narima Rajoelina kuweza kutoa hotuba hapa katika mkutano huu wa 39 wa wakuu wa nchi na serikali wa Jumuiya ya Maendeleo Kusini mwa Afrika.
Excellence, Dr. Joseph Magufuli, président de la République unie de la Tanzanie et président entrant de la Sadc. Excellence, Monsieur le Président de la Namibie, président en exercice de la Sadc. Excellence, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs d'État et de gouvernement, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs de délégation, Madame la secrétaire exécutive de la Sadc, Mesdames et Messieurs les membres de délégation, distingués invités, Mesdames et Messieurs, je voudrais tout d'abord vous dire combien je suis heureux de participer pour la première fois, en ma qualité de chef de l'État malagasy, à ce